Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Now we're back on the Harveys, and this is going to be a dark mild, and apparently it's malty and mellow, so they say soft and slightly sweet with a dry nutty aftertaste. That's what I like people to describe me with. Anyway, now I'm giving you the dry bulk. It's 2.8%, so it's an absolute rager of a beer on the alcohol front. And it's 500ml and roughly about £3 a bottle. And it's Harvey's XX dark mild. I'm actually looking forward to this because, like I said, I like a mild, and the last Harvey's we did was a pale ale that was actually better. Yeah, so fuck knows what this is going to be like. That's the only problem. You don't know what you're going to get when you crack open a bottle of Harvey's, you know what I mean? Maybe we're going to get some Bristol cream. Sherry. Hope not. I'm just thinking, hope not. No, seriously. I don't mind the odd sherry now and again, you know what I mean? Especially if the vicar's in. Oh, careful in the back there, sir. You know what I mean? I'm good to hell, I'm telling you, I'm good to hell. You know, you are sitting there watching me. But yeah, seriously. Oh dear. I've not had much luck with religion. My parents tried to basically show me the honest ways of Christianity and that type of stuff, and I ended up telling the local minister to F off. Yeah, that didn't go down well. Yeah, he wasn't impressed, and neither was the parents. Yeah, I'm sure that brought fucking heart attacks to them. Didn't help that this minister also married my oldest sister as well. Well, he didn't marry her. He performed the wedding ceremony. He didn't get married to my oldest sister, just in case that came across, because he's got taste. I mean, no, he's a man of the cloth. He's going to be, well, I wouldn't say he's celibate. He was having affairs and that type of stuff with divorcees and other lonely parishioners. So he was, but no, he was non-committal on the relationship front. You know, he was a free spirit, and so was his seed. But yeah, anyway. I'm not going to mention his name, Fraser Aitken. Anyway, well, that's me done now. You know what I mean? I can only basically spread the rumours. I didn't stop them. You know what I mean? But yeah, he was actually quite a nice guy. Actually, just as a case, so he caught me at the wrong time, and he just didn't realise the situation. So I wasn't in a particularly good place, because I'd actually damaged my ankle quite badly playing football, and I'd actually just got the kind of cast off, and I was tentatively just getting back into kind of playing football. Again, in those days, the physiotherapy and that type of stuff was fairly non-existent, so my ankle had a bad habit of giving way now and again, just, you know, for no reason. So I was being very tentative, and some bugger basically ran into the wall. We were playing indoor football in the church hall, and I was in pain, so I'm down there, oh you fucker, and he goes, well, that's enough language, Graham, and I'm like, you can fuck off, you know what I mean? So he got both fucking barrels, just caught me at the wrong fucking time. I'm in pain, I'm not happy about it, and I really don't need a fucking lecture on bloody cursing and swearing, because at the end of the day, I very rarely curse and fucking swear. And the problem is, you needed to fucking understand that, because I'm not that type of fucking person, you know what I mean? You know, I'm the type of person that's very kind of quiet and genteel, you know, I don't fucking swear at all, you know, I'm not one of them bastards, you know. But yeah, so I had to eventually have to go back round to apologise, and I'm sorry for telling you fuck off and that type of stuff. Did I use a C word? No, I didn't. Oh, well, that's fine then. I'll just apologise for telling you fuck off then. You know, that type of stuff. But yeah. So yeah, I'm not a particularly religious person. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not religious at all. I don't believe in God and all this nonsense. Other people do. That's great, wonderful. you go for it. Whatever gets you through life, that's up to you. I'm not going to judge you or question you. If it works for you, that's all that matters. Doesn't really work for me. I don't really need a book of make-believe to tell me how to behave. I can really work out myself what's kind of right and wrong, you know. That's how I work with it, you know. I don't need some kind of fucking 10 commandments, you know, telling me don't covet your neighbour's ass, you know what I mean? And I'll be honest, I never have, and I've never had the urge to at all, without the need of religion to remind me not to do that. So there you go. Anyway, shall we crack this open? Oof. Although it was quite funny and that type of stuff. There was rumours about the minister. Apparently he coveted a few asses. Of the female parishioner. Suave and sophisticated man of Bailey. Anyway. Well, this is the right colour. The last beer we did from Harvey's was a pale ale. Came out looking like a bloody amber ale stroke bitter in colour. So this looks kind of the right colour. Oh, there's a bit of spill in the back, so I'll let this kind of settle down just now, but you can see it's a kind of dark ruby. There you go. Maybe a garnet kind of colour if you're into your stones, you know. You're semi-precious. Which that's what I call mine anyway. Dark mild accounted for 75% of beer produced during the decade following the Second World War and was a mainstay of a generation in the public bar. Soft, slightly sweet, with a dry aftertaste akin to an infusion of ground nuts. It is refreshing, hydrating and comforting, liquid bread in every sense. Throughout changing times, the name of Harvey has become synonymous with Sussex, a hallmark of quality, consistency, tradition, and God knows what we're actually making today, but we'll call it anything we want, and who gives a fuck. And there you go. Well, that last bit I did myself, but I'm sure as the case is, if they were more of a wordsmith like myself, then they probably would have kind of put that on the label as well. But there you go, it settled down, and I thought it would. It just had one of them heads. I thought, well, why kid on? I knew it was going to bugger off, so it's a wee bit more of a scum head rather than a proper head. But that is what it is. What does it smell of? Oh yeah, you're getting the dark malt, dark kind of roasted malt. So yeah, maybe a little bit of kind of molasses-esque with a kind of bit of sweetness there. So you're getting a bit of roastedness, bit of molasses, bit of kind of syrupy sweetness kind of smell to it. And that's it, not really picking up any hops or things like that, so it smells right, Let's see what it tastes. Right. Yeah, my God. Yep. That is a nice dark mild. Fair play to them. The flavours are on point, so they are. They've got the roastedness of the malt, they've got that little kind of light molasses coming through there, as well as some nice toffee notes. Got a nice level of sweetness, and yeah, nice little bit of nuttiness at the back end. Not a lot of nuttiness at the back end, but yeah, but I mean obviously, I would maybe expect a little bit more, and yeah. But again, we'll see how the mouth acclimatises. It's only the first kind of glug. So it might start to kind of grow at the back end, you know, as I get more acclimatised to it. But yeah, overall, it's a beer that's actually what it says it is, which is a tremendous success for Harvey's. Well done, well done. So that's it. This is the fourth beer we've done. Is it the fourth? Yes, the fourth beer we've done. So there we go. So it's taken 4 beers in to actually get a beer that what's in the bottle is what is described in the label. So that's not bad. That's we got there in the end. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, what's been happening recently? I had my birthday. Yeah, that's been done. I haven't gone away yet for the anniversary celebrations with the wife yet. You know, because you can see that I'm not all black and blue, so she hasn't beat me up yet. She likes to get these things out of her system when she's celebrating, you know. Plus, she's supposed to be trying oysters. We're going to a place where so it's quite famous for its oysters, because she wants to try oysters and that type of stuff, so she might choke on them. I'm not saying I want her to, of course not, you know, absolutely not, but these things can happen, and I can't quite remember how to do that. I'm like maneuver. Maybe it is remover. Joking that, loving that. Anyway, but yeah, because some people, because of the way they go down one kind of snotty lump, you know, if you're not really prepared for it, you know, what you try to say, love, is it nice? You like that? She's joking. Oh, she's always joking for it. She loves it. You want another one? Get that one in there. More like you should fucking gag on it and back at me, you know. That'd be probably closer to the actual fucking truth that will happen. Don't like that. Really, love? I would never guess, you know. And what else has been kind of happening? Oh, Keir Starmer's been making himself popular again, so he has. For the last couple of weeks, he's been doing a lot of kind of things that a lot of people think he's absolutely crazy doing, you know what I mean? One of the last things he did was a Chagos deal. Handing back land and then basically paying another country money for them taking it back and us kind of renting back the area we actually need. Would it not have been better just to give the area back that we didn't need and hang on to the bit we did need as part of the agreement, and then it's a case of once we don't need it, in other words, once we're not basically reliant on the lease anymore to America, so it's a case of, well, you can make up your own fucking mind now. We either hand it back or they can start paying for it or whatever, you know. They could have done something like that, you know, but no. Apparently it's a case of, well, let's just give it all back and then we'll just pay your rent for the bit that we're still going to be using, because that's a good deal. I'd like to do some deals with Keir Starmer, I'll be totally honest, and I would probably think most breweries would like to do deals with him as well, because if he does deals like that, you're in the money. It's quids in, isn't it? But that bloody trumpet, I mean, I wouldn't say that any of the other politicians and that type of stuff would probably do any better. Probably quite a few of them would do even worse, but that sounds like a cracking deal if you're on the right end of it. Which basically means if you're not Keir Starmer, then automatically you're on the right end of it. And yeah, Trump, he's noising people up as well. He's gone a bit fucking radio rental. He's trying to noise up the Europeans and that type of stuff, you know what I mean? Which is, I don't know why he's trying, because let's be totally honest, him breathing is enough to noise up the Europeans, you know, especially the EU and their politicians and things like that. I don't think there's any love lost between Donald Trump and the EU. So yeah. So yes, it's a wonderful time. And bloody mess the whole lot of it. It's just an embarrassment, it really is. But anyway, that's the world we live in. Marvellous. I think it's anything else that's been happening that's kind of interesting, you know. Oh, there's rumours about, I think basically Keir Starmer got his house, well, the house he was living in before he became Prime Minister, and a previous car of his that I think he sold to a neighbour. Apparently they get kind of firebombed and attacked and that type of stuff, and they've managed to get the 2 Ukrainians and a Romanian arrested and charged for that. It's wonderful. Now apparently the rent boys and that type of stuff, and there's a lot of questions going on about, well, how did they know that was his house? How did they know that was his car? You know, that type of stuff. It's not easy to find these things out, apparently. Well, this is what all the rumour mongers are all doing on YouTube, you know. It's rife with rumours, so it is. Oh, aye, marvellous. between Keir Starmer and the kind of these kind of closet rumours, and then of course you get the P Diddy trial and yeah, now I can understand why he was called P Diddy. But he was up to odd diddiness, so he was so diddy he was doddy, so he was amazing that. He's a right wee sex pest. My goodness, I'd hate to be at one of his parties. Yeah. No real ale. No traditional ale at all, you know what I mean? Dreadful. Oof. You know, imagine all that sex going on, that type of stuff. You even get a pint of bitter or mild in your hand, you know. It's just not right, is it, you know? It's not for me, you know. I drop my pants unless I've got a real ale in my hand, you know. Was kind of answered a lot of times when I was in the pub naked. But anyway, shall we taste this beer and break down the flavours? I wouldn't say the nuttiness is kind of growing very much. It's still kind of on the kind of weaker side. But yeah, nice kind of levels of malt, getting a little bit of caramel, nice bit of toffee, and just a little bit of molasses. Nice level of sweetness, a decent level of sweetness for, you know, a dark mild. And you are supposed to be slightly on the sweeter side with a dark mild anyway. Some of them aren't that type of stuff. I mean, you can get ones that are more on the nuttier side and less on the sweet side. I would say this is definitely more on the sweet side and a wee bit lighter on the nuttiness. But yeah, overall it's nice. You're not really getting so much of the grain, and you get more of a slightly kind of roasted flavour than really any kind of grain coming through. Maybe onto the mid-tongue. And yeah, it's very much of a muchness. It's maybe I would say the flavours just slightly die down a little bit in the mid-tongue from the front of the mouth. But yeah, they just kind of emulate the flavours. What's going on here? They emulate the flavours of the front of the mouth, and it was about kind of, yeah, you start getting that kind of nuttiness coming in just past the mid-tongue mark, and it is quite light. It's not really coming up and meeting you. It's kind of playing hide and seek with you a little bit. Just a little bit more prominent, just as it transfers from the back of the mid-tongue over to the kind of start of the back of the mouth, but almost kind of dissipates instantly. It really doesn't linger very much, and none of the flavours really linger. I wouldn't say it was a dry finish, but it's quite a clean finish, and yeah, maybe a little bit of kind of how would you say? I wouldn't say kind of dry, but I would say a little bit of a sharper finish, you know, not so much flavour wise, but more of a sensation wise. There's a little bit of kind of, take a little bit of tartness, just a little bit of tartness there, just at the back end, and that's it. Overall, yeah, it's quite a nice beer, and it is what it's supposed to be. Body wise, I feel it's just a little bit lighter, body wise. You could have just a little bit more body, just a little bit lighter than what I would like. I mean, the flavours are okay, but I just would say just a little bit more in the body, especially in the mid-tongue, and just a little bit more of the nuttiness at the back end. And I think that's the two major things that would really kind of improve this beer and take it into the kind of realms of being a really good beer. But overall, yeah, it's a nice, pleasant beer, and it is as described. But yeah, just strange because it makes the nuttiness and everything else, but then it doesn't really deliver. You know. But yeah, it's just, and it even says that, you know, soft and slightly sweet with a dry, nutty aftertaste. I wouldn't say it's so nutty. You know what I mean? It's nowhere near as nutty as you would get in a brown ale, and nowhere near than the kind of nuttiness you would get. I mean, the last dark mild I did was actually on cask. Was that not a Newark? It was a Newark dark mild. I had, and I think it was in Wetherspoons down in Bourne. Bourne is in Lincolnshire. And yeah, that had a far more nutty back end and things like that. It also has slightly kind of bit of smokiness to it as well. Overall, it was actually very nice. But yeah, I think the two main things that's affecting this one is just lacking a bit of body in the mid-tongue, and I would say that the nuttiness just isn't as prominent. It's quite light, and I think that kind of lets it down a bit. And they're saying it's kind of slightly sweet. For me, I would say it's quite sweet. I think it's more than just slightly sweet. So out of 10, what would I give it? I'm going to give it a 6.5. It wouldn't take much more. It just wouldn't take much more for it to go up the scale, because I think a lot of the right stuff is there, but the difference between a good beer and a really good beer is these little small things, these little small kind of attention to details, that instead of trying to infer the flavours there on the label, the flavour's there to tell you it's there. And I think that's the kind of problem with this. And again, for the malt and everything else you'd expect, especially using darker malts, you would expect it just to have that little bit more body on the mid-tongue, and it's quite light. And the first thing that notices that's happening is that the flavours kind of slightly dissipate, going from the front of the mouth to the mid-tongue. And when you get to the kind of middle of the mid-tongue, you realise that, this has gone a bit thin on us. You know what I mean? It's not really holding that kind of initial kind of body, and yeah, it feels like it's lightening up on you, and yeah, and it just feels like that. And from then on, the nuttiness just feels light. Everything just kind of feels light from that point of view, and yeah, just slightly lacking. So yeah, I think the best one I could give you is a 6.5, and I've probably been slightly generous, because you could be quite easily a 6 as well. But I think there's a case of you'd have to sort these things out for me if you wanted to get a better score. But the problem is, these things to sort out is going to probably cost you a little bit more money to improve, because you're going to actually have to kind of up the malt in the recipe, and yeah, you're going to have to up that malt, and obviously it's a case where you might actually have to raise, you know, the alcohol content, and then of course you're going to have to lose that little bit of sweetness as well. I mean, it's not going to, I would probably take it down to slightly sweet as you describe it, rather than being quite sweet the way it is just now. So I mean, there's adjustments you could make, but I think the adjustments you would make would obviously change other parts of the beer as well, which for me, I don't think that's a bad thing. So I mean, yeah, I don't think it would take much, but it might cost a little bit more to do some of the things. But anyway, £3 a bottle, it's not as if it's a case as though it's coming across as a bargain anyway, is it? So yeah, it's 2.8%, it's 500ml, 6.5 out of 10. It's Harvey's XX Dark Mild. Thanks for watching. Cheers, and bye for now.